on the steps taken to address the issue, as of May 2026, engagements with our county staff revealed that a number of employees with disabilities had not submitted their national persons with disability identification cards. Consequently, on submission and proper mapping within our payroll systems, the number increased from 24 to 38, that raising the percentage to 2.3% of the total workforce, which is currently at 1,608. So it is our commitment as a county to ensure that we meet the legal threshold. However, it should be noted that only a few candidates among the PWD meet the required academic qualifications and other criteria for employment. Those who qualify are always given the opportunity, and we will continue to adhere to the constitutional principles in our recruitment, and hopefully we will attain the threshold. Thank you.
Before I go to the auditor, you're saying that it is our commitment as a county to ensure we meet the legal threshold. However, it should be noted that only a few candidates among the PWD meet the required academic qualifications and other criteria for employment. Is that a fact?
It is a fact.
How do you establish this?
Ideally, the section that the auditors picked was on section 2 that requires 5% of the total workforce. But section 1 communicates about the requirements of that particular job, meaning that the PWD threshold or principle, you will only consider it after the candidate has already attained or has proven to be qualified for that particular position. And so what we are trying to say is that all the people that
are saying the ones who apply,
yes,
don't qualify.
Yes.
Okay. Not that they are not there.
Yes.
And you cannot say emphatically that there are no people with academic qualifications in Kenya who qualify for the criterion of employment, unless you say the ones who apply are not qualified in qualifications. Yes?
Yes, that is the correct position.
Yes, that's a better position.
Yes.
Auditor? Yes. Senator?
Chairman, sorry, Chair. I wanted you to explain to us whether this John Joel Ndungu is still working in the county government.
Where did you get that from?
In the response.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
In respect to employee John Jogu, we were responding on the 130. That is number one. Number two, John Jogu, around last year, he left the country for the national government. So we had to respond out of the 130 whether there were any considerations on employment, and he was amongst the 130 that had been employed by the time.
Auditor, what is still outstanding in that query?
Chairman, before the director comes in,
yes.
You see, the auditor relies on records that is given by the entity. So, if the employees have not submitted documents to indicate that they have these certificates from that indicate that they are really disabled, there is no way the auditor will be able to determine that information. Okay? So, request the entity really to update the personal files with that kind of information for the auditor to be able to make that determination.
Auditor?
Thank you, Chair. Based on what my colleague said, I think management should also provide us with maybe a sensitization, let's say a memo or notice given to employees within the workforce who are persons with disability to actually go for registration and bring the certificates so that we can evaluate the answer. However, this matter is a cross-cutting matter, so I think we can't finalize it here and we can keep it in view. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Dulu?
No, Chair, I just wanted to find out from auditors, how did you pick that? Because when they are doing advertisements, they should be able to pick those who are qualified, especially PWDs. Is it determined by them being registered with the Disability Council, or the certificate they are holding, or the physical appearance of the PWDs? Because you cannot just pick that.
Thank you, Chair. I think during advertisement, it should be among the policy that at least if they're recruiting 130, they should reserve a certain number for persons with disability, so that as they process the applications, then they're mapped out. I think that would be the best. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, these align in your response. That is the first paragraph, steps taken to address the issue. You indicate that consequently, on submission and proper mapping within our payroll systems, the number increased from 24 to 38. So the percentage came to 2.3. That's what you're saying. These extra people living with disabilities, do they have cards?
When we identified them, it is a requirement that they have a card, and we have encouraged them to come and apply for the disability.
And that is my point. If
Yes.
they don't have the cards,
We don't consider them as PW.
do they enjoy the benefits like non-payment of taxes?
No, they
pay,
don't. It's not allowed.
if they don't have the
They
cards?
have to have the card.
That's interesting. Very interesting. So what have you done about it? Because if they are paying payee like any other person, then they are disadvantaged. What have you done? Maybe some are just ignorant.
And that's why when we identified, we have helped them to make those applications.
Have you helped them make the applications, or it was just for the sake of the query?
HR.
With the blessing of my governor, we've really supported the people living with disabilities, at least to be able to get the tax exemption from KRA. And once we did this sensitization for us to realize them and to inform them that officially the only way we can be able to recognize them within our payroll system, because auditors audit our system, not merely the physical files. So that is where now the numbers have risen, and the number that we are speaking about, 38, are the ones, the cards, and the ones we've also supported in getting the tax exemption and other benefits that are due for them.
We can keep that in view. The next paragraph would be underpayment of salaries.
Thank you, Chair. A review of the payroll records and payment of salaries for the year revealed that the gross salaries of the executive committee members was paid at rates applicable for the financial year 2003-2004, as opposed to rates applicable for the financial year 2004-2005. This was contrary to provisions of the Kenya Gazette volume CXXV number 177, dated 9th August 2023, on remuneration and benefits for state officers in the executive of the county government, provides the gross monthly remuneration structure to be implemented for the financial year 2024-2025 with effect from 1st July 2024. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, before the governor responds, we have been joined by Senator for Nandi. Please come on record.
Through the chair, Cherargei produces my name, Senator of the Republic of Kenya, representing the great people of Nandi. Chair, I was late because I was preparing for Nairobi. I was just doing press in my office. Thank you, Chair.
Governor. Governor, please respond.
Thank you, Chair. I'll ask again the Human Resource Director to respond to that.
Okay, Director.
Chair, with the blessing of my governor, the county executive acknowledges the observation regarding the payment of gross salaries of the county executive committee members and the county governor at the rates applicable to the 2023-2024 financial year, rather than the revised rates stipulated for the 2024-2025 financial year as by the Gazette Notice Volume CXXV number 177, dated 9 August 2023. However, it is important to clarify that the revised remuneration structure for the financial year 2024-2025, although gazetted, was not operationalized across the 47 county governments. The implementation of such salary adjustment is centrally coordinated by the State Department for Public Service, specifically through the Directorate of Personnel Service Management, DPSM, which updates the Human Resource Information System, Kenya, to reflect the changes. As of the date of the audit review, the HRSKE had not been updated to incorporate the revised salary rates for the state officers in the county executive, and no formal communication or system enablement had been issued to counties to effect the changes. Consequently, payroll processing continued at the prevailing rates for 2023-2024, in line with the system configurations and national guidance. Furthermore, it is worth noting that another circular from the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, that is reference number SRC TS 29 volume 2 29 dated 12th September 2024, affecting remuneration for other categories of county government employees for the same financial year also remained unimplemented due to similar system and procedural delays. Management is committed to ensuring full compliance with applicable remuneration frameworks from the Salaries Remuneration Commission, and will promptly implement the revised rates on the HRSKE as updated and formal instructions are revised from the relevant authorities. We have provided steps taken that Kenya Gazette notice, volume CXSV number 177, dated 9th August 2023 for the county state officers, was implemented in the month of February 2026, alongside the SRC circular reference number SRC TS 29 volume 2 29 dated 12 September 2024 for other county employees for the same financial year across the 47 counties, including Lamu County. Therefore, we affirm that we have paid and are now in compliance with the current rates. Management is committed in ensuring full compliance with the applicable remuneration frameworks from the Salaries Remuneration Commission, and will promptly implement the revised rates as communicated from time to time. Thank you.
Auditor, how does that answer your query?
Thank you, Chair. It was an issue of compliance with the law. So since they were operationalized, they've actually complied with the law. So I think what we'll look at in this coming financial year will be on the impact, because you'll note that on compliance with the law, their compensation of employees was 53% of their total revenue. So if they implement that, that means that threshold will go up. And in their response, they've not given us what is the financial implication of the increase. Thank you, Chair.
No, but you're not querying the financial implication.
We weren't querying the financial implication. We were querying compliance with the law. So now
compliance with the law, and they are saying that gas was not operationalized.
Yes.
By
then.
HRIS KE. Is that finding correct? Because then there was breach of law and want to mitigate. Is that an issue that you got in other counties?
Okay, I wouldn't know unless I inquire from from other counties and see whether it was a cross-cutting issue. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, what I didn't get that.
I'm saying I can inquire from my other counterparts from other counties and see whether this was also cross-cutting in their counties. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Governor, we have complied now.
Yes, we are.
But then those during the time of the audit in the particular year. So I think when you're writing our report, we'll see how to treat that matter.
I think
because yes,
we have a response on the wage bill. We do not agree with the percentage.
Because it's substantive, we can deal with it at that level.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe, Chair.
Yes, Center.
Chair, I thought, Governor, you should have provided this information or you got it from SRC through the chair? Why was there delay in terms of providing this information? Because it should not have escalated to the audit query. Because if you are doing entry, exit, management meeting, management letter, these things should have been resolved. What happened? Number one. Number two, why was you have indicated steps taken through the chair. You have not indicated that you have either taken any administrative action for any officer that did not sufficiently provide. And then finally, Chair, I've seen in your response you are telling us HRS, the new one, had not been updated to incorporate revised salary rates. But if you look at the previous financial year, and I want to thank the OAG through the chair, the unresolved prior year audit matters had captured that you are doing payment outside the previous use of IPPD. What was the case? Thank you, Chair, for those three.
Governor.
I think the issue of IPPD, that has now been resolved. It was true that we were paying casuals outside the payroll, but that has now been addressed.
Governor, through the chair, I've asked a simple question. So what is, you are a lawyer, what is, through the chair, what is it has been resolved, but there was a breach of law, and you know ignorance of the law is not an excuse through the chair. So how did you rectify? That's what I'm asking, because Chair, it has been raised twice, just twice. Senator Dullo should be patient. It has been raised twice. So that's my only concern in the previous financial year and this year. So
The Senator, the system was not updated.
No, that is what I'm saying. HRS was paid outside. Even in IPPD, it has been captured in unsolved prior year matters at Appendix 1, the same issue. So even if it has been rectified, there was a breach of law. So I expected the governor to say the steps taken. He has not indicated what he has taken, including
in terms of administrative action.
Yes.
Governor?
The steps taken, we have rectified. What is important is that there was a mistake. It has been corrected.
Chair, can you assist the governor? I don't want to come back again. He says steps taken has been rectified, but there is a breach of the law.
Chair is saying there was a breach of law. So that person who breached the law, then some administrative action should be taken to mitigate, either warning letter, training, or whatever. That's what he's saying. Otherwise, but for efficiency, because Nairobi is just coming in, we've seen documents coming in already. I want us to, because there are remedial measures that have been taken, the rest we can do as we can keep it in view through the auditor. I want us to look at 5. That is avoidable expenditure on accrued interest. Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. A review of records established that an amount of Kenya shillings 5,749,700 was paid to a private legal practitioner as legal fees. The court had ruled that the county executive pays the plaintiff an amount of Kenya shillings 3,938,604 less pay by 1st October 2021. However, management paid a total of Kenya shillings 5,749,700 as legal fees, resulting to overpayment occasioned by accrued interest totaling Kenya shillings 1,811,096 as a result of failure to settle the payment in time. This was contrary to Section 162, Subsection 2, Subsection B of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, which states that every public officer employed in or by the county government shall ensure that resources within their officer's area of responsibility are used in a way that is lawful and authorized and effective, efficient, economical, and transparent. Further review of records revealed that an expenditure totaling Kenya shillings 7,169,709 was made to a widow of a former member of staff under work injury benefit who died in line of duty in June 2014. The total amount payable was Kenya shillings 15,848,544, determined by the Directorate of Occupational Health and Safety Services, Ministry of Labour. However, the failure to maintain an insurance policy with an insurer was not explained. This was contrary to Section 7, Subsection 1 of the Work Injury Benefit Act 2017, which provides that every employer shall obtain and maintain an insurance policy with an insurer approved by the Minister in respect of any liability that the employer may incur under this Act to any of his employees. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
Thank you, Chair. Our Director Legal will respond to that. But I must also point out that even if the staff we lost during June 14th...
We can start with the response.
Yeah.
The way it is done, then you can add that later on.
Maybe.
Let's hear the response first.
Okay.
You said your name is?
My name is Kulthum Harith.
Okay. Director Legal. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The delayed payment of Kenya shilling 5,749,700 to the claimant advocate being the decretal amount awarded in Rafael Munya Ndungu versus the County Government of Lamu 2018 and Rafael Munya Ndungu versus the County Government of Lamu 2021 arose from the non-settlement of the decree by the previous administration and failure to provide a handing over report on cases outsourced and status, leading to accrual of interest. Upon establishing the existence and status of the judgment, the current county executive took steps to address the outstanding liability and mitigate further financial exposure to the county government. Consequently, provisions were made and payment effecting during the financial year 2023-2024 and financial year 2024-2025 to settle the decretal amount in full. The settlement of the decretal amount demonstrates the county government commitment to complying with court orders, reducing contingent liability, and promoting prudent financial management and development programs. Work injury benefit compensation without insurance cover. The county executive acknowledged the payment of Kenya shilling 7,169,709 to the estate of the late Mr. Ayub Kinyuma Mbogo in compliance with the directive issued by the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health Services via its letter reference number WIBA CGL 1432 dated 6 February 2020. The late Mr. Ayub Kinyuma Mbogo lost his life during the Mpeketoni terror attack in 2014 at a time when devolution had recently been operationalized and the county governments were still in their formative stages. Consequently, the county government had not yet procured a work injury benefit insurance cover for its employee. In recognition of the deceased entitlement to compensation under the Work Injury Benefit Act, Cap 236 of the laws of Kenya, and in order to avoid protracted litigation and the attendant legal cost, as well as to evaluate the hardship faced by the deceased dependents who relied on him for their livelihood, maintenance and education, the county government paid the amount assessed and directed by the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection through the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health Services. Consequently, the county government procured a comprehensive insurance cover through the National Hospital Insurance Fund, NHIF, now transitioned to the Social Health Insurance, SHA. In addition, the county government is engaging the Social Health Authority and other relevant stakeholders to ensure that all employees are appropriately insured and that the county remains compliant with the provision of Section 7 of the Work Injury Benefit Act, Cap 236. Step taken. Adequate budgetary provisions have been made for settlement of court awards and legal obligations. Outstanding court decrees and verified claims have been prioritized for payment. Coordination between the legal and financial department has been strengthened to ensure timely processing of claims. A register of pending legal obligation has been established for continuous monitoring and prompt settlement. Regular review of legal liability is undertaken to prevent delay and avoid the accrual of interest.
Lamu is doing quite well in terms of giving quite comprehensive answers. Auditor, what is still outstanding?
Thank you, Chair. The only thing that is still outstanding is in their response, they've indicated that they're in negotiation with correspondence with SHA to explore whether they can actually have an insurance covering employees on work injury. So I think that is what is work in progress. So we didn't get any correspondence from them. So I think as we go into the in-year audits, we'll actually inquire and see whether there is active engagement. Thank you, Chair.
But on the issue of paying interest on the declaratory sum, there's nothing much you can do about it.
There's nothing much you can do because the first one was based on a court order, and the second one was also based on a government department directive. Thank you, Chair.
But then the steps taken, can they suffice to mitigate?
What now they've not told us is
It's okay. Senator Andy.
Governor, I've noticed, I've read this report. I've noticed there is a lot of breach of law. You know, I'll not forgive you because you are a lawyer. And I want to repeat that if there is no excuse of the law, you don't have, and your legal person is just there. But Chair, since we adopted this report as is, I want to take the trajectory that we have taken on steps taken. I wish for efficiency, they would have, and for example, let me just speak to, in the interest of time, a register of pending legal obligations should have even been provided so that we are aware how much and look at the contingency liabilities that have been allocated. Number one, these outstanding court decrees and verified claims should have been attached. I don't know what you mean by coordination between legal and finance has been strengthened to ensure timely processing of claims. You have not touched anything. The regular review of legal liabilities undertaken to prevent. So looking, Chair, at even budgetary provisions, even if, because in the budget, and I can see the gentleman who is always with you is aware that it should have provided even the contingent liability, and he's a survivor. He must be a very good survivor. So, Chair, the budgetary on the issue of claims, Chair, and then the budgetary provision through contingent liability, and then finally, Chair, on these degrees that the courts have issued. If the governor would have attached, then we cannot just take the word for it.
Okay, Governor.
But the chair is to make a ruling. Are you seeing the chairmanship?
He's requesting. Say, I request, Governor.
I request.
So let's have that information in the next 7 days. We are really pressed for time, but I want us to look at one more, just one more. That is the bullet on the paragraph on irregular procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricant. Auditor.
thank you, Chair. Irregular procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricants. The statement of financial performance reflects expenditure on use of goods and services totaling Kenya shillings 474,512,195 as disclosed in Note 10 to the financial statements. Shillings 67,560,295 in respect to fuel, oil, and lubricants. Review of the procurement documents revealed that the county executive procured oil and lubricants through request for quotation. This was contrary to the provision of Regulation 91 of the Public Procurement and Asset to the procurement threshold in the second section, which provides that for goods, works, and services, the maximum level of expenditure under this method is Kenya shillings 3 million per request for quotation. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
Thank you, Chair. The Director Supply Chain, Salim, will address that.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Salim Ahmed, Director Supply Chain. Management has noted the auditor's observation regarding the procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricant through the request for quotation method and appreciate the concern raised on compliance and Regulation 91 of the Public Procurement and Asset Regulation 2020 and the expenditure threshold for RFQ contained in the second schedule. After reviewing the matter, management wishes to provide the following clarifications. Departments in the county government are independent procuring entity as defined under the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. Section 2 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act defines public entity to include any organ or department of county government. In line of this definition, each county department was treated as distinct procuring entity with its own designated accounting officer as provided for under Section 44 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. Accordingly, each department initiated and managed its own procurement process based on its approved procurement plan and budget. Each fuel purchase was conducted within the RFQ threshold. The procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricant by department was undertaken individually, and each request fell within the allowable RFQ threshold of 3 million per procurement in accordance with Section 105 of PPD Act 2015, Regulation 91 of the PPD Regulation 2020, and second schedule of threshold matrix. No single requisition exceeded the prescribed limit, and therefore the procurement method applied was compliant at the departmental level. Decentralized procurement was based on operational structure. Department initiate fuel procurement due to their operational needs, such as field operation, transport logistics, and machinery support. Each department also maintained its own vote book of account and spending authority, making it necessary to conduct procurement at the departmental level rather than centrally. The decentralized approach was therefore consistent with the departmental mandate, budgetary allocation, and the operational need to ensure continuity service delivery. Aggregation was not practically possible, although the overall county expenditure appears consolidated at the financial statement level. This does not reflect the transnational reality, which involves multiple independent micro-procurement undertaken at different times by different departments and for the different operational purposes. As a result, aggregation into one bulk procurement for the financial year was not feasible, nor it is required where departments act as a separate procuring entity under the Act, Section 2. Improvement measures going forward. To enhance compliance and avoid misinterpretation in future audits, management in implementation of the following actions. Central consolidation of fuel framework contracts to supplement departmental RFQ where appropriate. In conclusion, management therefore maintained that the procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricant was conducted in compliance with the Public Procurement Act 2015 and Regulation 2020. Each county department qualified as a public entity under Section 2 of the Act. Each department had its own accounting officer and initiated procurement independently. All purchases were within the 3 million RFQ threshold as provided by under Section Regulation 91 and second schedule. Steps taken. The county government undertook an open...
Leave that, eh?
Yes.
Because it's quite long. Auditor, that explanation, how does it sit with you? That each department was doing procurement separately?
Thank you, Chair.
Less than 3 million, but when you aggregate, then it becomes very big.
So now what we would have loved to see was just to see the list of LPOs that were issued in respect of each department with amounts indicating that the threshold of 3 million was actually met by all. And if you aggregate them, then you arrive at the total figure. That would have made a lot of sense. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, I have a problem with your indulgence. OAG, so when you saw this advert for the procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricants, it was one consolidated tender as per your observation, because in your certificate you have raised that when it is below 3 million, you can request through quotation, but when it is above, of course, you tap it. So when you were auditing, this was a consolidated tender.
No, it was not a consolidated tender.
Then why were you arguing that they procured beyond the threshold of request for quotation through the chair of 3 million?
Thank you, Chair. The audit observation was that if you look at the total fuel consumption, which is 67 million,
Correct.
that amount is huge. And if you are to do an open tender, then it is more efficient to manage because it can be controlled from a central point in terms of management and accountability. Thank you, Chair.
So finally, Chair, I've seen the governor has indicated, given detail, but you have said steps taken is now for open tender process for the supply. Governor, what was the reasoning of segregating these tenders and ensuring, we saw yesterday in Wajir that there was 1.9, 1.9. So why were you segregating to 3 million through your person? Why were you segregating? What is the justification? Because 67 million segregating into 3 million each, it will appear as cumbersome and lump sum. Or does it mean the access to fuel and lubricants in Lamu is a big problem?
Yes, Governor.
Chair, I think this was for efficiency in operations. You have, we have like the Department of Health. We have level 4 hospitals. King Fahd, Pfizer Hospital, and Peketoni Hospital, each having their peculiar requirement for fuel. So for efficiency, we allowed the departments to procure.
Chair, just Governor, sorry for taking you, but I know we are rushing against time. If today you give this opportunity to, for example, Shell or Ruby's or Starbucks or whichever, or Starbucks or Ruby's or Shell or Total, I thought when you give tender, if there is a Shell that is next to King Fahd, they get their service there. Or you don't have maybe the senator, or you don't have a petrol station, for example, that is prominent within Lamu County, or a company that is prominent.
Not really. The geography is a challenge.
Yes, Treasury. Please help us.
Yes.
Chair, maybe if I may understand the transaction, is that the county entities were procuring fuel, but the problem is they were not mapped such that now the aggregated figure is reflected in the executive. I think that is my understanding. Such that now the individual entities were procuring on their own, but it is reflected in the larger county.
That is how I've understood it also.
That is how I understand it. Because as the audit is saying is that they just saw the aggregated figure, which now they could not establish the source of that figure. That's why the audit is requesting for the individual quotations from if really it was done in the county entities. Now the individual entity, the respective quotations can clarify the whole amount of the 50 plus million. I think that is my understanding.
No, the auditor made that finding, and the executive was supposed to explain. I don't know if you explained that during the time of audit. And if you did, then there must have been something that compelled the auditor still to escalate the issue up to this point. Auditor.
In addition to what you are saying, I thought also if governor is referring to some hospitals, I thought under the FIF Act they are supposed to generate their own financial statements. Then why was it appearing on consolidated executive financial statements? So the auditor maybe through the chair, auditor, maybe you can give us the wisdom, because I thought if, for example, King Fahd Hospital has its own financial statement, then it should reflect at King Fahd without a consolidated. Maybe
and they should have their own procurement.
Governor, we are assisting you.
Yeah, no, Chair, I just want to clarify. Even with FIF, it's not enough So the county executive supports the entities. We don't collect enough.
No, that's not the point.
Yeah.
That is not the point. The point is procurement at the entity level. They are allowed to have procurement officers.
Yes, they do that.
And so if they are purchasing oil and lubricants less than 3 million, then they are allowed to do procurement at that level. But then that global figure, when it comes to the financial statements, it comes to 60 million. And that's what the auditor is querying. So, I don't know, I think I've understood it. But then steps taken to mitigate, they are saying that now they have an open tender process, which then would do the tendering for all the entities, I believe. So much so that if a particular hospital requires oil and lubricants, then they would request to be supplied by the
But the F5 is, you know, if the hospitals are allowed now under F5, as you have chair, to procure on their own.
Yes.
So when they appear before peak, and I know they have appeared, those appearances will come through the financial statements of that specific
and they should be allowed
facility.
to procure competitively.
Correct, they competitively and as per the procurement laws.
Chair.
Yes.
Chair, you know, this procurement for oil and lubricants has been a major challenge for a lot of counties. And I don't know why. Because I've also heard my colleague here alluding to a situation where perhaps if you procure with Shell, then is there a Shell that is near a facility that is consuming the oil? I would want to understand how this central procurement would work. Because first of all, Chair, you realize that if it is a petrol station branded Shell, it does not mean that it is owned by a Shell headquarters. It's a franchise. So it's a business entity on its own, where it is. So you cannot procure centrally for Shell and then you assume that any Shell petrol station anywhere will be able to supply the entities that want to consume the oil and lubricants. So this centralized procurement for oil and lubricants, I want to understand how that will work. Perhaps for Lamu it could, because they're small countries of landmass. But for places like where we come from, I don't know how that would work.
And then also maybe unless we are doing for departments, you know, Department of Education would require fuel, Department of Health, Department of Lands, and each department then has a procuring entity procure on their own. Maybe let's get your wisdom for the open tender.
And Chair, for your information, the whole of Lamu East constituency does not have a single petrol station.
Even one.
Even one.
Through the chair, I also want to add that.
Yes, see.
Thank you, Chair.
I thought you were on.
I also want to add that in Lamu County, there are areas that we need to operate. Which
Order, members, order.
In Lamu County, there are areas which we need to operate, which are in the islands. And one of the requirements for a supplier to supply fuel for Lamu, he must have a petrol station at sea. Therefore, that's also another challenge. And the basic reason as to why we procure through departments is because of that kind of uniqueness of Lamu geography. But we have had the observation of the auditor, and we are acting on it. We are procuring all the fuel. In fact, this financial year, we procured through an open tender.
So how will it work? You have many hospitals.
There are challenges.
You also have departments within the executive.
Yeah, there are challenges, but because we are guided by the law and they're insisting on it, but I just wanted some clarification and insight. Was it a breach of law to procure through a department which is mandated by law that this department can procure, and the threshold is allowable for that department to procure? And all procedures, in fact, the auditor can attest to it, all procedures for procuring through threshold, 3 million were followed.
Okay, auditor, let me just hear your thinking again, then we close this issue. It's a bit interesting.
Thank you, Chair. I think what the observation was actually saying is that if you look at the total expenditure, which was 67 million, yeah? So if you break it down into 3 million, then it's like splitting the tender. You're avoiding competition. So that was the gist of the query. Yes, thank you, Chair.
We'll look at it. Okay, Governor, you want to say something?
Yeah.
You can open up some other things.
The 3 million is threshold.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that everyone is 3 million.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I
2
understand.
million, it's 1 million.
I understand.
Meaning
Yes.
we did not exceed the threshold.
I think for us, because he looked at the global figure to make that observation, for us also we'll sit and write our report according to what will be advised by our people and also how we look at it. Members, because of time, we had said we'll end it at midday, actually some minutes to midday, so that we can start on Nairobi. I have marked the issues that we've looked at. There are issues that we've not looked at that require our attention. So, Governor, we should be able to call you back here, especially for the delayed projects and other issues on, mainly it is just delayed projects. We want to know how far the projects like the county headquarters, construction of governor's residence, further sub-county headquarters, all those we've not looked at. And also we have the issue of ROR, which we've not looked at. So I know we'd have opportunity to invite you again, but our time is up. We need to adjourn for some few minutes, members. I'll give you opportunity to talk. Yeah, we'll have to adjourn for some few minutes, but before we do that, let me have can you donate our time to Senator Lamu to give some remarks? There would really not be closing remarks because we've not finished with this report. So, Governor, please just have your closing remarks, then we would see how to end it.
Chair, first, thank you very much on the delayed projects. Thanks to the Senate. What was missing was funding from the national government. And I appeared before other committees of the Senate to push for this county headquarters funding. And as of yesterday, we have received the first tranche of 120 million. So I just want to express our appreciation to the Senate for pushing, because this money was always budgeted, but it was never paid over to us, the 5 counties. So
is that the whole amount that is required to complete?
No. I said it's the first tranche. There's still some.
Okay, out of how much?
But it, at least we'll be able, like in my county headquarters, a building is there. I can at least complete 1 floor and make it useful for occupation. So I really appreciate and I thank all of you for according us this opportunity.
Senator Lamu.
Thank you very much, Chair. There is an issue that I wanted us to address on the issue of unfinished projects, but I've not seen it being captured here in the report, although it was supposed to be in the previous year, 2022, 2023. There was a time that the governor came into this committee, and there was some document that he was supposed to provide. And there was some money that was lost, around 795 million Kenya shillings. When the committee issued an instruction that the executive bring the report here, it was never brought. So there is a problem, Chair, because the governor took me to court on that issue. So now I don't understand the reason as to why the executive did not provide those documents to this committee to date, because those documents are supposed to form the basis of my argument in court, and they were never brought. And it was supposed to be brought to the Auditors General, and then the Auditor General forward those documents to the committee, so that now the committee can now give me those documents. It was never done. And the governor has taken me to court because of that issue.
Can I say something?
Just a minute.
No, please.
Just a minute. Governor, just a minute.
You see,
I'll give you opportunity.
Okay.
I'll give you opportunity. Do you know the documents that are supposed to be brought?
Chair, it is in Hansard. Those documents were supposed to be the untraced projects.
Chair, I think I chaired that meeting. Let me assist for efficiency. We directed, and then as a committee, I think you were chairing another meeting in the first floor. We were supposed to be given updates on the unsolved prior year matters under the year under review on Appendix 1, project implementation status on acquisition of assets. So we were querying the amount that came to 795, and we directed then the governor and the executive to provide documentation to the OAG. I think Muriuki might have been there, or his colleague, and the secretariat to receive that amounted to 795 million. So, Chair, if you want finer details as per number 21, that is page 12 of the certificate Appendix 1 on resolved prior year audit matters, then we can refer to the answer, and I would request my brother, Senator Kituku, to maybe give time and ensure you give correspondence to the finer details. But that order was given, so it is up to the OAG and Secretariat to indicate whether they received those documents. I yield back, Chair.
Governor?
Chair, with due respect, there was no money lost. And the senator went ahead in public and said the governor stole the money. There's a big difference. So I sued him for defamation.
So let's look at this thing. I'm not a lawyer myself, but being around lawyers, if we go to the depth of this matter, we might sink into the flouting the sub judice rule. Number one. Number two, if there are documents that were required, were they brought? If you don't know, we should be able to give you time so that we request for the same documents again, and then we look at the issue of the 795 million at another meeting. Yes?
Chair, I have to confirm.
Chair.
Okay, see.
I want to assert that we replied, sent the document, and they were received at the Senate.
Okay.
We were given 14 days to respond, and we responded within time and submitted the documents to this House.
Senator?
But I asked the AOG and they said that they never received the documents.
Did you ask our clerk?
Yes, I asked them. They said that they don't have the documents.
I think what you do, you just retrieve the documents and supply to the area senator. I don't think he's the one who's supposed to come look for them. If they are with us, just give them over.
If they're there,
Chair, I will
give them to the senator.
Thanks.
If they are not there, then within the next 7 days, communicate to the governor.
So, Chair,
within 14 days, they should be here if they are not supplied.
Chair.
Yes.
Also
we are pressed for time.
Yes. But your colleague is in court.
Yes.
So you can't take it lightly. And I don't know which came first. Mm-hmm. Whether the court jumped on our case or we are jumping on the court's case. I don't know when this matter went to court. Did it go to court before we were seized of it, or it went to court after?
We were seized of it first.
Then how do you then get somebody to court on a matter that is before the Senate? The final examination.
The issue.
Wait,
he called me a thief in public. It's not what he said here. This is privileged. What he said out there, that he summoned me to Senate, and that I stole 709
It's okay, Governor. Senator Ambua.
It's okay. It's okay, people. It's okay with time. If you don't want to stop, we can stop. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. We can stop. If you don't want us to talk.
Please, Chair, allow him.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
Chair. There is one thing that you must also understand.
Yes, our colleague is in trouble.
That the final determination as to whether there was money lost does not lie with my friend the governor or the senator. That matter will have to be subjected to a process. The determination will be made as to whether the money was lost and whether the loss is on account of theft or misapplication of funds. So I think it would have been better for the governor and also the Senate to allow this process. If we ask for documents, then we should have concluded on the documents. Then after the outcome of the committee, you decide what to do with this matter. I'm not a lawyer, that's just what I'm saying.
Okay, let's listen to a lawyer.
As a lawyer,
So on what basis did he go out there and call me?
Governor, it's okay.
No, it's a governor.
You don't have the mic, Governor.
Pressure.
Yes.
as a lawyer,
Can listen to lawyers now.
Chair, you are wading into dangerous territory. I want you to adjourn this meeting.
Another lawyer? Governor? I know Chair.
Chair,
You are a lawyer, but
Chair, what I can say.
What they just said, you're a lawyer,
No, you need to withdraw, Chair, because I am an active member of LSK. I have paid for my practicing certificate for this year. Mine is just in the interest of time, and you know our colleague is in trouble. I want just to encourage Tuku that what is happening, let us finish the process, Chair. Let the Senate be supplied with documentation. Then you can form your basis. But I want to encourage you, personally, Sifuna and colleague have been sued by many people, including CS of Interior. So you should not fear.
I will not fear.
Yes, so you should not fear. And if you need legal services, you can get from some of us. I know how to deal with it.
So I'm not saying.
Yeah, that's called ambulance chief.
Okay.
No, it is called solidarity.
Briefly, just 1 minute.
It's called solidarity with colleague. No, I'm not
Chairman, we want to request that, so to be able to support this committee, we want to request the officer of the county to give us the dates when that information was provided. That will make it very efficient for us to be able to make a follow-up with the Kilifi office. Thank you, Chair.
So I've given, whether you submitted them or not, I've given you 14 days to make sure that you submit the same documents to the auditor and a copy to our secretariat. No, the senator would get them through the secretariat. I think this meeting is adjourned until 12:30 when we'll be having Nairobi County Government. Thank you.
as equipment. But when it comes to
report of the Auditor General on the County Revenue Fund. For the County Executive of Nairobi City County for the financial year 2024-2025. Chair.
Thank you, Governor. Auditors, did you receive the documents in good time, and do you think we are ready to proceed?
Yes, Chair, we did receive.
Beautiful. Clerk, did you receive our document? It's in good time.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm that we did receive the document. It's in good time, and we should be able to proceed.
Beautiful. Governor. You are summoned. Committee, but you did not appear. And on that same date, you are fined. As a resolution of the committee. Kenya shillings. $500,000. That you are to pay in your personal capacity. Clerk. Did the governor honor that fine? Did he pay?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm that the governor has already paid the 500,000 fine.
Okay. So members, I don't think we need to belabor that because there is.
Chair, just preliminary. Governor, I have seen you have two senior positions that are acting, and they are critical with your indulgence, Chair, for the running of the county. You know, Nairobi is not just a county. Is a city county. And your senator normally refers to some of us as rural senators. My only concern is there are limitations of enacting. I've seen you have seen CM acting finance, and I think acting county attorney. Could you just tell us, because you know for the running and efficiency, the county Public Service Board, what is the state? So that we know the county is running as it should be. Why are you having most of your office or senior officers as acting? Thank you,
Governor, although they're just two, they're not most. Governor can respond.
It depends on where you did your English.
Chair.
Yes.
The only acting person here is the county attorney. As you see, finance is not acting. Once you get a letter from the governor, you hold it.
But he said acting.
Yeah, I'm correcting you.
Okay.
The previous holder had a legal issue that is being pursued in court. And it's something that I really want to bring to the Senate, because the legal holder of the office, the previous holder, Charles Kerridge, was convicted because of pending bills. Chair, the Government Proceeding Act protects public servants from such, conviction. It was not him to pay from his pocket, and sometimes there are limitations. But when it comes to county governments, our officers are continuously harassed, arrest warrants, they are constantly hounded. But you'll never see a permanent secretary in the national government or a cabinet secretary, because a CEC is the equivalent, of a cabinet secretary, going through that. That is a special appeal I will make to the Senate. The county attorney is newly appointed. and the procedures for approval are underway, Chair, including advertisement.
Are you saying you've never seen a national government official facing contempt of court proceedings?
Not contempt, arrest. Arrest warrants for not paying.
The warrant comes from contempt because the courts have made decisions that your government has to honor. We are a rule of law country. I mean, if the courts have made a decision that a certain amount of money is payable, I am familiar with these cases.
Yes.
You can't excuse the accounting officer in such an event. What do you want the Senate to do? Because we also respect court orders.
You can, Chair, without us going into that as a substantive point. If a CEC, for instance, is compelled to pay a certain amount that has not been approved by the budget in the county assembly, how does he pay it?
So what arguments do you make for the judges there? Because we cannot excuse someone who's been convicted by a court.
I have not asked you to excuse anyone. I'm saying that the context within which county government officers are dealt with vis-a-vis their colleagues in the national government is something that I've been on both sides. Something that I've seen is it is not fair. And we will be bringing substantive issues. Even before any issue of contempt, there are always arrest warrants in counties. When I was senator, we were dealing with them. County secretary that time was always in hiding. The country, it's a bigger issue that I think the devolution committee. Please allow me to finish, Senator Ombo. Okay. That the devolution committee needs to hear us out and look at it. That is what I want to propose, and I'll bring it later. It's not about a specific case. It is something continuous on numerous issues, Chair.
Senator Ambua.
Chair, Governor Sakaja, I'm actually in support of what you're saying. And you began by saying that you will bring that matter to the Senate. We will sit back and wait for that matter to be brought. Because you know what, Chair? This mistreatment of county governments by the national government does not begin and end with officers of the county governments. It also extends to allocation of resources in the treasury to county governments. So bring that matter, let's deal with it.
Yeah, just as an exit point, Governor, just under 30 seconds, then the hypocrisy in your statement is you fired Kerich based on that legal challenge.
No, he's not been fired. He's not holding the position for now.
But you have appointed somebody substantively.
Chair, we have 10 CCs. And for, the one...
So you moved him to another department?
He is the substantive CC.
Yes, because he came here, he's not out, or he became substantive after I asked. Did you hire him on instance?
It is first time to sit before you. And sometimes he sees you on TV, so he's,
Yeah, there is an issue that we have to agree on, Governor. Warrants of arrest only issue if you fail to attend court.
No. Yeah, that's why I want this thing substantively dealt with. We have warrants every week without issues of attending court.
This is where we want to guide you, because you cannot bring matters that are before the courts to the Senate for resolution.
No.
The issue that we want to be clear on, even you have been subject to arrest warrants from the Senate just recently because you failed to appear. If you appeared before the courts, that is where you make your case, because also those courts, they are also Kenyans. I understand the challenges that devolved units are going through. We have been through numerous such issues. I remember when the lawyers were issuing those warrants all the time, and it is usually those legal bills, and you sit down with some of them, agree on a payment plan, something you can take to the court.
So my senator should listen. My senator should listen to his governor. Why are you preempting the issue before I bring it? To look at the entire...
Is what we call exercise in futility.
Chairman.
That's what your senator is warning you against.
Everyone deserves a hearing.
Futility.
Let's talk and deserve a hearing. Let's hear it. Let's dismiss it at that point.
Senator, why can't we just move to this?
Because you see,
Let's put
he
our
said
mics off.
he will, he has not.
To bring it substantive.
He may not even bring it.
Let's all put our mics off.
But we don't want him to do exercise in futility.
So why can't we just let him do what he has to do? We got the serious.
Because at face value, it's exercise in
Chair, the
futility.
Senate is a house where everybody comes to for relief.
Said, you know it.
We cannot all be talking, surely.
Please. Yes, let's just talk in tongues. Let's just talk in tongues. Now, let us listen to Senator Wambua.
You know, me, Chair, what I'm saying is, the governor has said that he will. He has not. Let's wait for that to happen. When it happens, we will deal with it. But I'm saying, let's go to the issues here, because there are quite serious issues here.
Yes.
I would personally want to know whether the 1 million machine for making chapatis arrived.
Yeah.
No, those are issues that I want to discuss.
No, Chairman.
Please, let's just talk when you get my mic. It is possible for you to ask for the mic, and I'll give you the mic, and you prosecute your case. Now, Senator Sifuna, are you asking for the mic?
I have asked.
Please do.
Finally, you know, I don't know how I can put this. If you go to the wrong forum with a problem, expecting resolution, it's actually, I don't know how I can put it, Governor. Because we have, even in our standing orders, we have the sub judice rule, we can't deal with matters that are before the courts. What was giving was guidance, but we will wait for that. I just wanted to know, because it's a matter of great concern to me personally, because I know Kerich. Are you aware as a government of his physical whereabouts?
Chair, let me say this. One, we've not come on that matter. I have not said we're bringing substantive issues with respect to court rulings. Because the sub judice rule is that if you bring a matter that is currently before a court and your hearing of that matter can jeopardize its outcome, that is when you don't discuss it. I'm talking about the Government Proceedings Act. And allow me to leave it at that, Chair.
Is it possible, members, that we leave that issue and we go to the substantive matters? Because looking at the time,
I've been asking you to give me a floor.
Okay,
you know, this is a house of record, yeah? And we all know, including Governor here, that we have all taken oath, even us as we sit this afternoon, to respect the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. So if the courts have issued orders and you have county attorney, you have a legal department, you have gone to court, you have lost the case, and there's that court order, what really do you want the Senate of Kenya to do?
Which matter are you talking about?
There's no matter.
Whatever matter. You're coming here.
Which matter?
You're trying to ventilate before us that you have a problem with this issue of courts issuing orders.
Chair, that is the folly of judgment before a matter is brought to you.
So what's the issue?
Wait and look at it.
What's the issue you are raising?
I'm talking about unfair execution of Government Proceedings Act.
Through court orders. I mean, that's not a matter we can. That's not a matter. Chairman, that's not a matter that we can prosecute.
Let it come.
Let it
come and then you discuss.
It has not come before us.
Even putting it on record itself is procedural.
Chair, I think the governor shared the frustration they are going through as county governments.
Yeah.
And it's not the matter that brought them here before this committee. So I think until when he actually has done his own research and is ready to come before Senate for a solution, then we should move to the audit issues.
Yeah.
Please.
Chair, we have been around. We know what is happening around this country. We have had a lot of issues where counties are being frustrated left, right. And that's what the governor is just saying. I think Senator Wambua has summarized everything. Let's wait for that opportunity.
Finally, I think my question, members, was very simple. Which the governor has put to rest that the CCM is not acting, is substantive. The only person who is still in process is the county attorney.
It is in the record. The governor
yes, that is the introduction was that it was acting, but the governor has confirmed he has just hired him substantively. So let us leave it there, Chair. I yield.
Chair.
When the devolution comes down.
Governor, I agree with your frustration.
Allow me to say something friendly.
Yes.
Sorry, Governor, yes.
In Article 96 and 95, the Senate exists to protect the interests of counties and their governments. It is very unfortunate that even before listening to the substantive issues that a governor is saying counties are facing, that senators can be prejudicial. Why don't we wait for that matter to be brought? Look at it. If it makes sense, do what you need to do. If it doesn't make sense, then you leave it. It could
So
be
the matter that the governor is
but you
talking
cannot be
about,
prejudicial and dismissive.
Yeah, it's okay, Governor. The matter that the governor is talking about is not in this house yet.
No, it is not.
Go and prepare, bring it. And
It has been dealt with in one or another in the last Senate, but not substantively.
Thank you. Senator, you want to raise something?
I've not been answered on whether the county government of Nairobi knows where Kerichi is physically.
I will not answer that.
Yeah,
that is prejudicial to his rights. I will leave it.
Fair enough. I think fair enough. Looking at time, 10 minutes to 2 members.
Chair, just as an exit, with your indulgence, if you don't know where your employee is physical, how will they execute their duties and it's still substantive?
So how would he know where he is really? Is there something I don't know about this issue?
Chair, can you control the meeting, please?
Yes, I think let's just go to the substantive matter, members. Is that okay? So before Governor came in, we had opportunity to engage with the auditors on the matters raised in the receiver of revenue. We will start with the receiver of revenue, and then if you get time, we go to the executive. We looked at the matters that were not resolved. These are the matters that we shall look at now. The first paragraph was paragraph 8, that is page 5, on the certificate, receivables from exchange and non-exchange transactions. Auditor, you had already done your audit. And because by 31st, we had our report at 1st March, the governor had not turned up. We had and adopted this report. What we'll be wanting from you is we're just looking at the implementation of this report. So still we'll go through the issue, and then the governor would give us the response and how they're implementing the recommendations of the Senate report. Please go through 8.1.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, 8.2.
8.2.
8.2, yes.
Note, do I read the whole of it or in summary?
Just read all of it.
No, thank you. Note 22 to the revenue statement reflect receivable from exchange transaction totaling to Kenya shilling 7,529,000,755,055. However, receivable totaling Kenya shillings 4,816,825,885, or 65% of the receivable have been outstanding for more than 3 years. Further, transition from cash-based to accruals accounting introduced a significant variance between the audited prior year arrears balance and the current year's reported opening balances, which were not reconciled or supported with the determination, with documentation and explanation for downward adjustment. In the circumstances, the accuracy, completeness, and recoverability of the revenue of the receivable totaling to Kenya shilling 62,769,430,875 could not be confirmed.
Governor, please respond and point us to the page that you would be reading your response from.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much. The response on 8.2, I will give the response here and also discuss the issue generally, because it's a big issue that needs to be looked at holistically. The county has put measures towards recovering outstanding debt owed to us, which includes joint operation for enforcement teams, clamp down closure, and recovery of unpaid items.
talks with government entities to explore possible recovery and in some cases debt swaps. The county also did data cleansing, exercise whose results show county owing itself a good amount coming to hospitals, schools, and county offices and all parcels were being calculated in the system. Sorry, which page is that? Page 9. Is it labeled 9.3? Did you get it? Okay. Go ahead. Stop there. Go ahead, Governor. The same data had exempt properties being calculated in the system, and above all, the general interest and penalties had grown beyond the principles by far. Chair, we've attached a transitional statement and transitional reconciliation statement, which have been provided. Also, the report on the data cleansing activity. The corrective measures undertaken is a comprehensive data cleansing exercise on land rates and data records, exempt properties and unrecoverable balances identified and removed from active receivable balances. Enforcement teams were deployed to recover outstanding land rates and rent arrears. Demand notices, legal notices, bulk messages, and eviction notices in the case of house rents were issued to defaulters. And in Appendix 13.4, we've submitted samples of those. Debt recovery initiatives, including clampdowns, were initiated and are still ongoing. Detailed aging analysis and reconciliation schedules were prepared. Revenue collection strategies were enhanced to improve collection of arrears. Periodic review of outstanding balances is continuously done to identify long outstanding debts for appropriate action. Chair, in a nutshell, with accrual accounting now we must, put the receivables, what we expect to get from either accounts we have or parcels of land, because land rates and property taxes are indeed the highest revenue stream for the county of Nairobi. The variance is then what is not collected, and what is outstanding in terms of defaulters. Now the defaulters, even after the cleanup, Chair, I think that amount of 63 billion is really the amount of money owed to Nairobi by its citizens and other entities, and mainly in form of land rates. The rents amount is not as high. It has come down, and it's because of a lot of measures that were put in place, including, unfortunately, evictions that had to be done, and such enforcement measures. Chair, if you look at the list of those who owe 63 billion, it's a huge list, and I'm happy even currently we are undertaking a negotiation with the debt collector to now move to auction, because the people of Nairobi need services. They need, garbage collected. They need medicine in hospitals. You need to serve this county. 63 billion out there is way too high, and the cost of running the capital is extremely high. It's a service county. Things need to be seen to be done. So that is what we're doing, Chair. You remember earlier I brought up the issue of Rating Act and the need for certain regulations by the Cabinet Secretary. The issue of what do you call it? Sectional properties. How 1 acre in a certain area is paying the same as its neighbor with 70 apartments, which is not equitable. Now the common Mwananchi is paying every day. The Mama Boga is paying 50 shillings or 20 shillings, but it's landowners of the 175,000 parcels that we've now reconciled to who are not paying their due to the city. So that is the long and short of it all. So in as much as we have improved on collection, Chair, that financial year in question, we collected 13.8 billion, 2024 and 25, which is a big improvement from where I found it. Those are land rates? No, that is in total. Of course, half of that is land rates and property-related taxes. Chair, we've increased revenue collection in Nairobi by 55%. But still, in as much as what we're collecting in Nairobi is more than 30 counties combined, it is not enough to serve the people of Nairobi. I shall rest there for now. Auditor, that was the query and that is the response from the management. Yes?
I wanted to ask...
Before you even do that,
okay.
We want to ask the auditor if that query was responded to well. If not, what is still outstanding?
What is the outstanding? We can say, I think, what is the current state out of that 62 billion? Because the concern was it has been outstanding for long. We think what is outstanding for more than 3 years. What is now out of that? What is the current state in terms of what have you collected within that?
Is it possible to get that now, Governor, or you might need time? You see, a lot of the increase between the 8 billion to the 13.8 of our current revenue can be attributed to people who've paid outstanding rates, but a huge majority are not paying. And that is why, I've seen there three categories of people. One are very faithful people who come and pay, whether you remind them or not. Second, there are those who need to be reminded. I think even today, message reminding you that you have until 30th June for 100% waiver on interest. Thirdly, there are those who can only pay when they are caught. Unless they are caught and there's legal action or there's an auctioneer in their property, they will not pay. And that is the biggest problem. But also there's a government. There's contribution in lieu of rates from national government entities that is still owing. And I'll get the exact number, I think it's 3.8. Yeah. Around 3.8 billion from government entities, including Parliament. Parliament is one of the defaulters who owe Nairobi County contribution in lieu of rates. The new Rating Act provided a new procedure where you write to the CC Finance rights to the National Land Commission, listing all government entities owing CILO, and then the PS of Finance is the one who receives that from NLC and is the one who reports back and pays through NLC. That was the change that came with the Rating Act, and there's still been delay in actualizing those provisions because of the regulations in the House. Yeah.
Sifuna. Chair, Governor, the CS for Treasury sat in that same chair. Last year was here, and according to Treasury, according to what he told us, is that some of these conversations have stalled because of unavailability of your office to have those conversations. Sitting here today, what do you have to demonstrate the progress that has been achieved in terms of resolving some of those concerns?
Well, we can Governor, read the question. We'll give for a second another one from Senator Mugen.
Yes, Governor.
Sorry, if I forget, you said what evidence to show progress?
Yes, because he laid the blame squarely on you as the CEO of the county.
You should have called us together. You would not have said this. Order, Governor. Sorry. Senator Mugen.
Yes. Governor, I've heard you say that revenue has increased from 8 billion to 13 billion under your stewardship.
13.8.
13.8, Yes. Do you attribute this to efficiency, or you have also increased your rates significantly? What is the percentage you have increased the rates? Then number two, can you say that Nairobians are correspondingly receiving services to reflect this increased revenue from 8 to 13 billion? Personally, where I live, I've never seen a garbage collection from the county government of Nairobi.
Where do you live?
In Nairobi.
Where?
Don't worry where. But
Chair, can you protest
you must.
Senator Mogeni?
Governor,
I live in the Goreti corner, Wanyero.
The standing orders talk about responsibility for statements of
Yeah,
fact. So I will
actually,
tell you when-
not just, this is a general question that generally there is a problem of garbage collection. I drove through Isli yesterday. I actually took a video clip. I will send it to you. There are heaps of garbage in Isli. The same thing with our center here in Kamkunji. So I don't know why we are not seeing a clean Nairobi now that you have increased revenue to 13 billion.
Senator, just write the questions you will answer. Senator Cherargei.
Chair, and you must bring the governor to order. He waits to a chance to answer. This thing of giving snippets while members are speaking doesn't look very neat. Governor, note this down. I have gone to corrective measures. There were teams that went out. There is the issue of comprehensive data cleansing. There is the issue of demand legal notices, debt recovery initiatives, total energy analysis. I've seen over 3 years in your report that you have given. That is more than 3 years, is almost 95.9% in terms of aging analysis that you have given. On all these 8 corrective measures, how much have you collected comparing what is still outstanding? And then finally, you have said your revenue collection has increased from 8 to 13 billion. But according to CRA, your revenue potential should be 63 billion. So what are you doing to actualize that? Because I know before this projection of revenue collection is the CRA and that potentiality of Nairobi should be much more, because there's that consistency in Nairobi city has never been achieved. So when you say there is improved efficiency of collection, then you still have this pending. And then finally, you had the CS Mbadi was here, the expert was here. We argued for some time about what national government should do. You have argued in your response that they could be debt swap. With that engagement, how much have you done debt swap with the national government, and how much are you agreeing on settling, as in terms of, I know national government owes you, you owe them. So where is the meeting point to ensure that, because bulk of this outstanding is bought by the national government as opposed. And on the issue of garbage collection, I don't know the efficiency, because even when you drive Wayaki Way and most of our estates, still a big problem in terms of garbage collection.
Governor, you may respond now.
Thank you, Chair. I'm very happy senators are making the same point I'm making, because that collection requires resources. It is a heavily logistical exercise. It's a very expensive exercise. Without these resources, you will definitely not see the kind of efficiency we deserve. An increase of 5 billion or 6 billion will not all go into one thing. It won't all go into garbage. The county provides medical services, roads, a lot of things, Chair, that because you're the ones who look through our audits. Let me answer them in sequence, starting with my senator. The evidence to show progress in terms of what national government, or rather these measures that we're taking, is really correspondence between us. Correspondence to the NLC we can provide. The demands for those amounts we can provide. Demands to national entities that we've actually written to, we can also provide. The issue that, if I get it right, that CS Mbadi was on about, and if I'm wrong, you can correct, was on pension debts. And the pension debts matter. In fact, I chaired a meeting that he missed in Treasury to agree on a new formula, because they had been applying the actual deficit wrongly. When you look at funds that are defined benefit funds like lab trust. But on DC funds, we, for instance, have no outstanding arrears when it comes to that, apart from interest. So that is the one meeting that is kept talking about, where I came and gave them. They wanted the views of Nairobi and Mombasa. And I remember that day I left OP and went straight to Treasury, and we gave them our opinion. In fact, we actually pointed out where they are wrong in their calculation.
because you cannot have the interest plus the actual deficit being applied on a county entity. It was not about the debts they owe us. It was about how much counties owe pension funds, lap trust and lap fund. And Chair will remember this is a matter I dealt with a lot when I was your chair of labor in this house, up until we passed the county government retirement scheme legislation. So I can provide that correspondence. Chair, what is slowing us down? One, the ability or the teeth to enforce. When you owe KRA, KRA will come for you. And they have all the powers plus police and all of that. For the counties, enforcement is a challenge. In fact, part of why we're working on the Nairobi Metropolitan Police Force. Because all our people have is Nirungutu. So I've told you, I owe you this. You go to court to get an injunction. You stop the process. The Section 19, if I'm not wrong, or 18, of the National Rating Act provides those remedies. It says that the county government can, one, deny you whatever service, including water, you know. Two, can come and put an agency notice on your property. Three, can collect rent on your behalf in the case of a place that has rental income. Four, can auction. Now, what has been waiting for implementation or execution of that has been regulations, because the same law says the cabinet secretary shall prepare regulations for the enforcement of that. Before, what they used to be under the Valuation for Rating Act of 1956, which yes, that was in its 1956 law, was that you set a valuation court in the county, which we did. You get a magistrate to head that tribunal. Then those with disputes can be able to, question the disputes before producing a new valuation rule. Fortunately, and my senator, this progress, we're the only county that has been able to move to a new valuation rule. 2019 valuation rule. The rest are still in the 80s valuation rule. So implementing it, albeit with a few people who had objections. If you help us get the proper regulations on two laws, one, the National Rating Act. There I sit with the governors and mayors from across the world. Capital cities are run through property taxes. Number two, on the sectional properties law. Sectional properties law demands, and I'll give you an example, half an acre in Kileleshwa with one house is paying the same rate as half an acre with 60 houses. Yet they need more services, more water, they use the roads more, etc. Sectional properties will provide that each and every of those units first gets a sectional title by a certain time, and each of them becomes a ratepayer. Even if the amount is the implementation of the Sexual Properties Act, again, it's the regulation. We've done our regulations. We even did a draft that we shared with the CS that they can adopt, because we're the biggest beneficiary. We've done county regulations.
So, Governor, that is a proper matter to bring before the Senate. And for your information, we have dealt with changes to the Statutory Instruments Act. We've passed I think three separate in this. Last 3 months or so. To criminalize delays in operationalization of laws, including failure and delays in passing of regulations. Thank you so much. Thank you. That will really help.
To realize this collection. Because it cannot remain in your books forever. So if it's not possible, can you make proper justification on how you can get it off your books?
Chair,
Thank you.
what my elder sister is not getting, the issue here is hundreds and thousands of people who owe the county rates and are not paying. It requires money. It requires resources. It requires equipment. We need to fix drainage in this city. It requires resources. So you're running a city of 7 million people with a 38 billion budget. We definitely can look to see one of our projects. And she asked me, Sakaja, how much Greater Paris? Then she asked me, what is your revenue? When I told her the amount, she was shocked. So what is your budget? I said, I converted it. I asked her what her budget is. It's the equivalent of 1.3 trillion Kenya shillings for the capital. We want that quality of life in Nairobi, but you don't want to pay for it. It is not fair. So that is the issue, Senator Dulo.
No, Chair, I agree with the governor, the frustration and challenges they are going through. But the other thing is that for how long are we going to have this on record? If you really feel that you cannot make headways, can you give this matter to the Senate? And then we can be able to see how it can be, you can be assisted. Because we cannot have it forever in books, and you are unable to realize.
Yeah, so that operationalization, I hope that is the right way you say that word. That is Nairobi. Nairobi, Mombasa.
Facilitation.
Yeah. Let me give you the last example. The Senate graciously has been able to provide for us. He left it at 18. Now he's come to 21. He's performed very well. Do you know of the 1.7 billion that I receive a month? 1.5 is salaries. We want potholes fixed. We want drainage done. We want 7 critically. The financing question. Chair, on the second question on revenue increase, Senator Mugeni, yes, it has gone up by 55%. What I attribute it to mostly is the digitization of all revenue streams. The digitization of all revenue streams and having a no-cash policy has really helped the efficiency. Number two, simplification of paying.
So 55% should give us what? From 8 billion, if you increased it by 55, wouldn't it bring us close to 13 billion?
Yes, that's why we collected 13.8.
So the fact...
I've increased revenue by 55%.
Because you have increased the rates.
No. I'm explaining the reasons you asked. The first one was digitization and making it efficient, devolving the customer service centers. Today, across the city, you don't have to come to City Hall to pay. On *647# on your phone anywhere in the world, you can pay your rates. On Nairobi services or geo.ke, you can describe your business, print your license with a QR code without going to any office. So that efficiency has helped. Senator Mukeni, the issue of rates increase does not apply because the rates increase was quite many. Because what we're doing is 0.05% of undeveloped site value. And we even did a capping because for the larger ratepayers, we said that if they increase almost double or doubles your rates, you will not pay beyond that. And so it's a very small category of people. Most ratepayers is 10,000, 15, 20, but the defaulters are the 100 million. I don't know if data privacy is an issue. I would name people here. That someone is well-to-do, is driving a big car, they're doing business, they owe us 12 million shillings, and they don't want to pay. And you told people, even these rates you can pay month by month in arrears, in installments, So really it is that issue of can't pay, won't pay until you get me.
But today I'm very happy.
Governor, the way you are talking about those big people, I'm looking at Chalagi and wondering whether he knows one of them.
Maybe he's one of them. You know, he's a big guy.
Chair, you need to protect me. Focus. Let us remain on focus. You know, when you're hunting for antelope, go for the antelope, not the squirrel.
But I hope you're not hunting. Chair, there are big names, political names, big institutions, and something people do not know. This law today does not exempt people like golf clubs. You know, golf clubs are refusing to pay. Huge golf clubs, all these rich people go there to complain about the portal. But they themselves have areas. If I list for you, Karen, Mudaiga, Royal here, which if I auction it, it can make a very nice park for the Kibra people. You know, it can be a very nice recreational facility. They're not paying. Yet, the biggest complainers of lack of service delivery are members. Now, this new rating act only exempts religious institutions. And those religious institutions that have a business entity are not exempt in the business entity. If you go here to Holy Family Basilica, they're collecting a lot in their parking silo. So we only charge them rates for that part. But for the rest of the church, no. So it's only religious. You saw my staff went to the Freemasons. Freemason is not, it's not a religious institution. It's a gentleman's club. It even has a bar inside. But you see, these are the people who are also the loudest.
Do you say people who are going to church don't drink?
All religious institutions are registered in Kenya through the Register of Societies, all of them. And so, people claiming those exemptions yet conducting business, you know, let's be fair. Senator Sifuna, you represent Mama Mboga, who comes early in the morning to Wakulima, and she's paying her 50 bob. But people
you can't flog this horse further.
No, we must.
Can I just
follow swaps, Senator Cherage asked. I've not answered your last question.
Yes. True.
There's not been good progress. We've done numerous meetings. One example is, I explained yesterday in a different committee, Chair, how I was going to be very happy having moved Nairobi from 119 billion pending bills to zero, because what was going to happen, one, I've already reduced from 119 to 86. Now from the 86, the Supreme Court ruled that Nairobi County is owed for the Makasi garrison. It was ruled that it is ours. And we said the military must now start paying for it. And the value of it, in my assessment and the assessment of our team, was 80. It has come down to 75. That negotiation stopped there. But if you press upon them to pay, as even to say to pay an additional 10 billion every year or 20, it will come to deliver services to the people. Because the court found that is a property Nairobi bought for value from Kayole Estates. That time it was 40,000 pounds. So these are the things that can really help us be able to serve the people better. Chair, I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Chair, just follow up, because when we finish the issue of revenue, I think we'll be done. Chair, Governor, I sympathize with you with the issue of rating, and we are back the statutory instrument. But I am jittery, because your potential should be 65.1 billion. If I accept the property rate, when you come to parking fees, your potential should be 2.5, but you are collecting 2 billion, just as an example. The hospital and public health fees, you should be collecting 6.2 billion, but you are collecting 1.5 billion. The building plan approvals, and I see many buildings coming up everywhere in this city, you should be collecting 6.1 billion, but you are collecting 1.35 billion. On the issue of business trading license, the potential is 16.0 billion, but you are collecting 2.7 billion. This issue and this analysis of your revenue, the liquor licensing is very interesting, because I normally see estimated potential of 8.4 billion, but you are collecting 338 million. I'm just giving breakdown, exempting the rating, the property rate. So does it mean, one, how do you, through the chair, how do you ensure that this potential is maximized? Number two, for example, like liquor licensing. I know most Nairobians like sheree. And whenever I drive around, you see quiver, you see what, and even your senator with indulgence has always referred himself as Waziri wa Sheree. I thought you should have at least corrected 5 billion to 8.5 billion. So what are you doing to maximize this other revenue that you don't need the rating act?
Finally, you have said that you are moving to from non-cash basis. Governor, we saw one of your senior officials, although this is a matter under investigation, was found with 65.6 million, although I'm told it was more. You never know what happens in this country. And it's a senior county official, and you are talking about moving to non-cash. Why would a senior official be found with more than 65 million in a house? What is, the point is, I don't need to deal with the investigating part, but you are talking about non-collection through cash. So my concern, if you find a senior official and you have said we are moving to cashless, then some of us doubt, considering finding 65 million with one person is very, very dangerous.
Thank you, Chair. Let me deal with the substantive issues. Yes, the potential in those revenue streams that you have mentioned. I'm not agree with the figures because that was just an estimate, but it is high. But remember, you also need resources to collect resources. You know, you need to invest in equipment. You need, and especially for what we call the DCU, the debt collection unit. We are now getting into leasing to have more vehicles for those teams that go to the ground, and so the potential is there. But of course, we also don't want to overtax Nairobians. We're not raising taxes. We've not raised for the last 2 or 3 cycles. But we're expanding where people can actually be able to pay. An example that counties have not explored well, I think apart from Kisumu and maybe Lamu, if I'm not wrong, is what we call entertainment tax. I think Kwale, one of the coastal counties. You know, the constitution says that counties can levy business and property fees, and B, it says entertainment taxes. If an entertainment tax of whatever percentage is put on a lot of what you'd call entertainment, it is a potential for all counties to actually raise some money. And it can be collected even by carry, you know, as a percentage as they collect their VAT without overburdening Kenyans. Yes, Senator Cherargei, Nairobians love sherehe. There's been an increase in liquor, especially this financial year, again because of the same process. We now moved to liquor pay. Now, liquor pay is a system that is digital, that all of those who are applying to run these businesses are now using. They're very happy with it. You know, it's very hard to hear people you're regulating coming to say thank you for doing that. I think finally, on the officer found with money, it is not revenue he was found with. I don't think it's being investigated. But in Nairobi, first, we don't condone that. And I condemned it completely. I suspended the officer immediately. We've seen cases of people being found with money from national government, from other counties before, whether it was bribes collected from people, etc. It is wrong. And we must do everything we can do to tighten systems to prevent that. Of course, as I said, even in that, in my statement, there's a space for personal culpability. You know, I saw the media, my friends here, trying to now run with it, saying Sakaja's officer found, like, surely, how do I know what you have in a bucket in your house or under your bed?
But he's your officer.
I have 19,000 officers.
You know, they were right, he's your officer.
But when someone else was found, KPA, they didn't say so-and-so's officer found with 500 million, you know? It is very unfair when
but they ran the same headline. I hope you saw.
Thank you.
But the point I'm making is
Chair, in defense of the media,
Yes,
Sakaja, you know, I'm also ascribed.
So they even apologized to me.
But you know,
I'm sure because for the 4-on-1,
there is nothing wrong with them making reference to you because they also need familiarity, you know.
No, they can say Nairobi County Government officer.
The boss of Nairobi City officer is the boss is Sakaja. So
a very close ally.
I think we can close.
But you have worked with him.
Very close ally.
Let's close.
But some of us know you as such.
Yes.
He's your close friend.
Senator, Chairman.
Progress.
Chairman, as we make progress,
yes.
Governor, I think you need to. I'm happy that you are condemning the officer who was found with money. You know, when you look at the projections on how much you should be making, and when you see an officer working with 65 million shillings, that should be an indicator there is a big leakage in terms of collecting of rates or revenue and the like. So you really need to, you can't blame the media. Of course, certainly there is a problem within your own administration, that there is that window of somebody working with 65 million shillings is an indicator that there is a problem. So I hope when you go back, you will fix that issue, that weakness in system that can enable an officer to walk around with 65 million shillings.
Chair,
Thank you.
Chair, I don't know why the governor is complaining, because I don't know if he saw they were saying the same. When you don't show up to the committee, the people of Nairobi are saying, go and get him from his house. Because they say you are my governor. Yeah, they say that I am unable to do oversight. In fact, even on this specific officer, the expectation was that I should know where all of the officers live and should be conducting periodic oversight visits. And now, so you shouldn't be complaining, because at the end of the day, the people expect that those of us in these positions do something about some of these things.
So as we make progress, members, just Governor.
Yes, sir.
In the financial year 23-24, for land rates, we corrected 3.4 billion, but there was a huge leap. For the financial year 24-25, you collected 18.5 billion. Is it?
No.
Is that figure okay?
No, that is one of the queries. That was a receivable of.
Oh, that is a receivable
of those who had in
for land rates.
For land rates.
Okay.
Those are people. In fact, those are the best, because these are people you know, isn't it? They have an account. You have invoiced them, but they have not paid.
Okay.
It is easy to enforce on those ones. Then those who you may not know, and what we're working on as well, and I really wish it would be faster, an API between us and the Ministry of Lands. Because sometimes you get a defaulter, and then they say, oh, I did a subdivision. And so they say, oh, the ownership changed. The county should be able to know real time when those changes happen, so that we go after the right person. But the 18.5, Chair, was receivable.
So it is occasioned by the change in the accrual to from cash to accrual.
From cash to accrual.
Okay, let's make progress. So people, do what you can do so that we can get these receivables. And then number two, if there's anything that the Senate can do in terms of tracking the Electing Act and the other one is which one?
Sexual Properties.
Sexual Properties Act.
Chair, maybe just 1 minute, 30 seconds. You said you are supposed to do something with lands, Ministry of Lands. Is there progress so that we don't need to come up next year so that it assists? Because I know majority, if they can give you those, it is easy.
It's slowed down.
Nixon Korir is your personal friend.
That is true. But you know, institutions also exist. And we've been taken around by officers. I don't know why. Because, you see, if Senator Cherargei, you buy land today from Senator Wambua, I should be able, as the rating authority, to know who is the new...
The other way around. Me buying from him, not him buying from me.
Oh, God's blessings, you know.
It's okay.
But from my lips to God's ears.
Members, I think we need to agree.
You know, Wambua is an incoming governor, so
yes,
you should expect
we need to agree.
So such things.
Governor, not really auditor. Let's look at paragraph 9.2 on under the sitting of on-source revenue against bank collections. Go through the paragraph, then we get to know what the governor has to say.
Thank you, Chair. 9.2, under the sitting of on-source revenue against bank correction. Analysis of Nairobi State County Executive on-source revenue for the financial year under review revealed variance between the receipts recorded in the automated revenue system and credit in the bank account. The system reported total receipts of Kenya shillings 10 billion 602 million 255,881, while the bank reflected collection of Kenya shillings 11 billion 515 152 905, resulting in unreconciled variance of Kenya shillings 912 million 897 014, This indicates that part of the revenue credited in the bank was not receipted in the system as required. Failure to align the system with the bank credit undermines the integrity of the reported revenue and weakens the accountability in the management of the public funds. Further, it was not possible to confirm the completeness and accuracy of own source revenue for the year and the county is exposed to revenue leakage and possible misappropriation of funds leading to misstatement of financial reports. Thank you.
Governor, let's get the response.
Chair, allow me to read it and then just give a further explanation. Let me read what we gave. Chair, the variance of 912,897,014 is as a result of payments done directly to the bank without specific revenue stream narration or invoice numbers. Such payments do not reflect in the system as integration is based on the bill or invoice numbers. These are receipted later when reconciliation is done that identify similar payments related to issued bills. The county is in process of enhancing system integration to ensure that this challenge is resolved. So, Chair, the system that you're talking about here, the revenue collection system, has three ways of paying. One is through the USSD. When you dial *647#, because once you dial *647#, there's a drop-down menu, and you'll say, I am paying for landreds, or I am paying to use Uhuru Park, or whatever it is. And then you pay. There'll be no discrepancy. The portal as well, nairobiservices.go.ke, where whatever you pay then gets receipted because you paid for a specific item. And of course, going to any customer service center, and we know that Moruma has paid $1 million for this. Now, there's a category of people who send a payment directly to the county, to the bank. This 912 is money that there is more money in our bank than in the system, payments that didn't go through the system. So somebody just does an RTGS to Nairobi County Government of 5 million or of 3 million, and then our guys have to figure it out. What was this 3 million for? We found it in the bank statement, but we don't know what revenue thing it was until that person comes himself and says, I paid for approval of building plans and this is my receipt. So that is what we're trying to get integrations, including speaking to the Kenya Bankers Association. This normally happens with the banks that we don't bank with. When you go to cooperative bank and the banks we bank with, they assist or they have a drop-down. But through the Kenya Bankers Association, we want them to have a drop-down menu. If someone is paying Nairobi County, you can go to the drop-down and say, this is for rates, or this is for, whatever it is. In fact, you'll see there's very small discrepancy in packing payments, for instance, because that one is direct. You have not been invoiced, it's *647, you pay, and there's no discrepancy. So this 912 is attributed to that, but it is not money that has leaked away from the county. It is more money that has come than what the system has reported because of people paying directly to our banks.
Okay, Governor.
I hope you understand.
Point us to Appendix 9.1 in your documents.
Yeah?
9.1. I don't seem to be having it. You have it?
Just
it's there. It's not labeled 9.1. Even as you look at the appendix, auditor, there was more money in the bank
than in the system.
Is this a reconciliation issue or does it point to loss of funds? Do you think the response has answered that question?
Thank you, Chair. What the management provided in soft copy is the revenue for the total, 11. What is outstanding, our concern also is the reconciliation to support this reconciliation 912. The variance between the two, because we need to ascertain the accuracy of the 912 million. So that is what is outstanding.
912 million, you need to know where it came from. Is it possible to know where it came from? That's what the audit is.
So that's the process. We have to, if someone just sends an M-Pesa from Dallas, does not say what it's for.
Governor, the problem is in your response, you said the reconciliations and schedules have been provided in soft copy. the auditor is saying there are no reconciliations in that soft copy. That's what he's saying.
You don't have the...
Did you provide the reconciliation?
We provided, yeah. We provided the reconciliation to the extent that we can reconcile. You know, there are some which remain that we are not aware of.
So then we should be able to see if what you're saying is correct. If it was 912, we should see reconciliations for at least 400 or 300. Is that the case, Auditor General?
Yeah.
Exactly, that's the case.
How far have they reconciled?
Because they were now addressing the specific, trying to they only provided the total revenue.
You're losing us. You're losing us. The governor is saying he has provided reconciliations to a certain extent. That's what we want to know, so that we know what reconciliations are outstanding, the amount involved.
That one we don't have for this, but specific. Maybe
So,
they can
Governor, we don't have that reconciliation.
We have done it, and we'll provide it again. We'll provide it.
So how much has been reconciled?
You know, they need the reconciliation for the entire amount.
For all of it?
For the
So there's a reconciliation for the
900.
But what happens is a small amount left, we'll get the specific, is then reported as other incomes. That is what I want to give. And Chair, by the way, what would be really bad is if the system has more money than the bank.
Yeah.
That if there's 912, the system and the bank is missing 912, that's a leakage. This is extra in the bank than what was in the system. So just provide the detail to where we got. Of course, you'll not be able to determine all of it until somebody, for instance, until I come to your house and say you didn't pay rent. They'll say, no, this M-Pesa on this date was the actual rent payment. Then we reconcile.
So Auditor, because members, because you don't have that reconciliation, is it possible you keep it in view in your next audit? Yeah, in your next audit. Maybe 2 weeks you provide that document to the auditors for whatever you've been able to reconcile. 14 days.
That's okay.
You want to ask something, Dr. Legwe?
Governor, for how long will you rely on manual extraction of bank balances to reconcile your statements?
What do you mean by manual extraction?
Your system does not reconcile.
It does.
It doesn't.
It does. The system I know does. It does.
The auditor has pointed out that, however, the system lacks full functionality to generate accurate, comprehensive, and reliable revenue reports. Consequently, the county relies on manual extraction and analysis of revenue from bank statements.
No. Maybe let me ask the receiver of revenue to explain. He's also an ICT guy.
Thank you, Chair. I think the difference that the auditor is pointing out to is the same 912. Because if it did not have the proper narration, the system will not be able to recognize it. But once it has the proper narration, then the system is able to recognize it. So that is a variance that is there. And that's why His Excellency says that we are also engaging the bankers associations for us to be able to have the payments come in a manner that is recognizable by the system. Because remember,
Chair,
every single day there are thousands of people.
Sorry, on a point of procedure.
Yes, Senator.
Since we have, and the rules of Parliament are very clear, since we don't have that document here, why are we discussing?
We are engaging
why
the
don't
document
we
that is not there.
rest the matter as stop, then give further direction, because we are shooting in the dark.
That is what I had proposed.
Yes.
Before Dr. Lego said he wants to ask. I didn't know he's asking about the same thing. Why don't we then go to 9.3? 9.3 auditor. 9.4. No, revenue calculation. 9.4.
9.3 is addressed.
Sorry, let's go to 9.4.
Thank you, Chair. Unauthorized revenue reversal. Audit established that 2 commercial banks contracted by the Nairobi City County reversed a total amount of Kenya shillings 2,224,474 from the revenue correction at source, without prior authorization from the county treasury or legal basis. These reversals were not backed by formal referred policy or disclosed or approved by the county budget execution framework. Allowing revenue correction agent to reverse funds directly from the revenue account without legal authority or treasury approval amount to spending at source, exposing the county to financial mismanagement and loss of public funds. in the circumstances, the accuracy, regularity, and completeness of the revenue correction totaling to 28,869,000,874,594 could not be confirmed.
Okay, Governor.
Chair, there's an answer. Let me read it first, then I explain. Chair, the reversed amount of 2,224,474 was noted by the county and addressed to the bank. The standard operating procedures indicate the bank should seek approval anytime there is a reversal. Anytime there's an error made by the bank or the client, a standard reversal form is filled and approved by either the bank manager, if the error is originating from the bank, or the Director of Revenue Administration, if the error is originating from the client. Then an approval is granted through the same form. So what we've attached is letters to banks stopping unauthorized revenue reversals and an extract of bank statements showing revenue reversals of 2.2 million, 24,474. Corrective measures undertaken, SOPs for revenue reversals were reinforced and they're operational currently in the county. Banks were formally instructed to seek approval before effecting reversals, and this also should include M-Pesa and mobile money providers. Standard reversal forms requiring authorization by responsible officers were introduced. I don't think should I expound more? It's a small, it's not an insignificant amount.
Yeah.
Out of 13.8 billion, this is 0.016%. But it is normally when an error has been made, you want to pay 1,100, you pay 1,300. And so you ask for that to be reversed. Or sometimes the person filling the RTGS in the bank makes an error. And I agree, by the way, legally, anything coming out of CRF without having gone through the controller is like spending at source, even though they've made a mistake. So we need, advice how to treat that. When a Kenyan makes a mistake in the M-Pesa and sends us 25,000 instead of 2,500, then applies for reversal from Safaricom, and Safaricom okays it. Because also we are paid through a pay bill number for M-Pesa 6060047. So that is the challenge that this is trying to look at. Auditor can advise us how to address it.
I think whatever Governor has explained is okay, the action you have taken. What we did not get is the evidence it has been reversed. I think the supporting that it has not been reversed. There is a communication to the bank between the two entities, but no evidence of reversal is what is lacking.
So do we mark that issue as addressed?
Yes, we can follow up during the current year audit to provide the evidence of the reversal.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Just keep it in view. Now, members, I want us to go to report on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources. And the first issue we can look at under this category is paragraph 6, non-compliance with legal requirement to conduct data protection impact assessment. Okay. Let's go to let's just look at 10. Let's go to 10, auditor. Let's go to 10. That is irregular engagement of Nairobi pay vendor. Let's look at that one.
Thank you, Chair. Irregular engagement of Nairobi pay vendor. During the year
Okay, auditor, let's start with number 7, please, because all of them are related.
7, 8, and 10.
Let's start with number 7.
7, 8, and 10.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Outsourcing of SaaS and maintenance of Nairobi Pay Desk.
The certificate, page 12.
Oh, page 12.
Okay, go on, auditor.
Outsourcing of SaaS and maintenance for Nairobi Pay despite county ownership. Audit established that in December 2024, Nairobi City County Executive entered into a contract with a service provider to provide software as a service, that is SaaS, for the Nairobi Pay revenue system at a cost of 4% of all revenue collected. The contract also grants the service provider responsibility for the
Peter, are we reading the same document?
Yes.
What is the percentage on your document?
4.5%.
You said 4%.
Oh, sorry, 4.5. Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Go on, auditor.
Thank you. Let me repeat, sorry. Audit established that in December 2024, Nairobi City County Executive entered into a contract with a service provider to provide software as a service, into brackets SaaS, for the Nairobi Pay revenue system at a cost of 4.5% of all revenue collected. The contract also grants the service provider responsibility for the system support and maintenance. However, audit review confirmed that Nairobi Pay is already owned by the county, raising concern over the justification for outsourcing its hosting and management function. Based on the county average revenue correction of Kenya shillings 1 billion per month, the estimated cost payable to the service provider under this arrangement amount to Kenya shillings 540 billion annually. Over the 5 years, the 540 million annually.
Senator Ambua.
You say 540 billion.
Sorry, 540 million. 540 million annually over the 5 years contract period, the total estimated cost payable to the service provider amount to Kenya shillings 2.7 billion. No evidence was provided of cost benefit analysis. Technical limitation or capacity constraint that would necessitate the outsourcing. In addition, no competitive procurement documents were provided. And the service agreement lacked clear justification for relinquishing operational control over the county-owned system. In the circumstances, the outsourcing SaaS and
that paragraph,
system.
Members, we are proposing we do all the paragraphs because they seem related up to 10. Then you ask questions. Just
7, 8, 10.
seven,
8 and
7, 8, and 10. Will about 9. Okay. So let's go to eight. Auditor.
We get the responses from the.
Yeah.
they are interrelated.
And then the governor responds, then we ask questions. Just mark your questions.
Thank you, Chair. Underutilization of Nairobi County Tier 1 server room. Due to outsourced hosting of revenue system. Audit established that Nairobi City County Executive maintained a fully equipped Tier 1 server room, developed to meet the technical and operational requirements of a data center. The infrastructure was designed to host core county system, including operational applications and revenue management platforms. However, despite this investment, the county entered into a contract with a server December 2024 for the hosting, support, and maintenance of the Nairobi pay revenue system and as software as a service SaaS could not establish that a cost benefit analysis or feasibility study was conducted to justify the outsourcing design. How was there evidence that the county executive's own data center had been assessed for readiness to support the system? As a result, the Tier 1 server room valued at approximately Kenya shillings 850 million remained underutilized while the county incurred ongoing hosting fees 140 million annually. And Kenya shillings 2.7 term based on revenue projections. In the circumstances, outsourcing system hosting to an external vendor while maintaining an idle or underutilized in-house server room led to wastage of public investment inefficiency and poor return on infrastructure. Okay, thank you. Irregular engagement of Nairobi pay vendor. During Nairobi County Executive operated a revenue management system, Nairobi Pay, since October 2022. However, the contract with the vendor was dated 16th December 2024, an indication that the county had operated without a valid contract for over 2 years with the vendor up until 16th December 2024. Further, the service level agreement defined the terms of support of the revenue system was not provided. In addition, correspondences in support of how the vendor was identified and any engagements were not provided. In the circumstances, the lack of a contract and service level agreement increase the risk that the county executive will not receive the services as contracted or have defined terms of engagement on service delivery. Thank you.
Governor, you'll answer. Seven, 8, and 10, respectively. And